So here we are again. Look at those mountains. The day I saw blue beans, you know what? I just came out of the garage now because my friend Dommy's, the maintenance guy, more like a friend of mine. He's doing the thing, so I came out here so I could spray it. Anyway, didn't even know that. But I'm out here looking at the mountains, and I was reminded of the blue beam display that Nia and I saw back in 2019. Might have been 2018. I don't know, whatever. It was around that time. I was walking her to work. I've done videos on this before, but I think it's time for another semi-annual Blue Bean video. Project Blue Beans. We have a place up the street called Pearl Harbor. Maybe you heard of it. It was an inciting incident for the War of 1810. No, I heard they have a lot of like off the books kind of stuff and projects and things that they can hide better here. Is he coming in? Things they can hide better, I guess here. It's probably from the mainland. I've never seen anyone pull in there before, by the way, guys. I swear to fucking God, I've never seen anyone driving here. Never seen anyone go in there. Alright, someone's gonna pull a car in here if I stand over here, John. Let's go up here. Let's take a walk up here. I think we could give Dommy his room and also do our own thing. Oh, no, because I'm trying to show you the fucking mountains. I'm gonna get my shit together. I will get my shit together one of these days, but I gotta find a place to stand where I'm not gonna be in someone's way. We may have to go to the fucking corner down here. Because everything's a fucking Truman Show. Let me see here. No, that's it. Well, we'll see how long before we have to move again. Right across the street there. I came out one night walking her to work. Isn't it funny how I get moved so far away? I'm not going to get hung up on it. It happens all the time. I was walking her to work one night, and we came out around dinner time. And above those mountains you see, right over there, you see where the cloud line is? That cloud line? In that cloud line was another set of mountains. Big, green, with no houses on them. Like, see how these, you can see houses and shit? Nothing on them. They look like just, they look like that mountain. Just green with nothing on it. Hanging in the sky. From way down there, where Diamond Head is, all the way down there to where Chinatown is. And I walked out and I did a double take. Yeah, we came right up this thing way over here. This is supposed to be Schizo Garage, but we've been driven further up the street. We're coming out of this walkway here, and I saw it, and I did like kind of a double take. And I'm like, Nia, what's that? And she looked at it, and I'm like, she's like, what? And I'm like, look at, what are those mountains? And she's like, oh, it's the, oh wow, what is that? I'm like, yeah, right? They're about the same height as those mountains, just in the sky, right where the cloud line is. And all the way into the distance as far as you can see, all the way that way as far as you can see. And we're just looking at them for a minute, just kind of bewildered. And then we start thinking, like, is it a reflection we're seeing? Is this a mirage from the water? Is it just a real clear day and we're somehow seeing the other mountains? There are no other mountains around here. That's the main thing. You know, we don't have any volcanoes, mountains or anything like that. That's a big island. And, you know, it's not here. Those are mountains. So I start walking. As we're walking, we're looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, there's a mountain range hanging in the sky. What the fuck is that? I'm looking around at people, and no one seems to be taking notice of it. So I go across the street to get closer. I gotta get real close. We're gonna walk across the street. But I go to the other side. There's a guy fishing over there because people For some reason, they're suicidal and they do that kind of shit with the alleyway. And I'm like, you see that? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what is that? He's like, I don't know. Continues fishing. So I'm walking down toward work. We go for a while, following it, with me just staring at it, and I start taking pictures of it. Now, I didn't have a channel at the time, but I did have many Instagram accounts and some other social media stuff. So I'm taking all these pictures of it. Like, what the fuck is that? It looked solid, but also like it could be projected there. It was almost like, you know, sometimes you see the moon. Not like that bad, you could see through it, but they didn't look right. They didn't look exactly like mountains. Like they were real, but they looked real enough so that if you looked at it, they looked like mountains. And then later, when I was showing the pictures on the internet and with people I knew, everybody was like, I don't know, what they couldn't see it because they don't know what it's supposed to look like. Like if you live on, right where I live, on the side of Alloy Boulevard, you would know, because you know what the view's supposed to look like. Showing them to people on the internet, they're just like, yeah, what is it that's not supposed to be there? And they just hung there. So as we get closer to her work, we cut back up onto the main street down there, Kalakaua, the busy street where most of the tourists are. And the whole way I'm looking, and I'm just looking back, and I'm looking if anybody else is freaking out about it like I am. And no, not only is no one freaking out about it, no one even seems to notice it. Which kind of freaked me out separately. So I walk her down to work, and we've been out now about, I don't know, a half hour. And I walk back home the whole time, just staring at the fucking thing. Like, what the fuck is this? And I think I talked to one more guy who was also kind of like, he was like curious, but not like, he wasn't freaking out like I was. I mean, I wasn't walking around yelling or anything. I was freaking out internally. I was having an internal freak out. Because there was a fucking mountain range that didn't belong there hanging in the sky above our normally regular existing mountain range. So I just watched it for a while. And then I was like, well, whatever. I had to go and do something. So I go and do something. I come back out. And it's still there. And it was there until the sun went down. And then when it started getting dark, you couldn't see them anymore. So 5 or 6, 6 or 7, 7, 8. They were there at least 5 hours. They're sitting up there. So I took the pictures, put them on my Instagram, on I think my X. I put them somewhere else. Showing them to people on Poll, showing them to people on X, showing them to people on some other boards. And no one knows what they're supposed to be looking at. You know, it was just like, I did a really crude, chopped up rendition of what it would look like. Like I'm going to do for you probably now for this video. But if you don't live here, on this side, I mean, people aren't very observant here. Like that thing that's next to the moon all the time. That every couple months I see it and start doing video of it, and I have videos of it. I talk to people about it. No one cares. No one knows. You know, isn't that weird? What is that thing? Oh, I don't know. Hey, do you know I can get cigarettes here after 11? You know, that's just how people are. No one cares about stuff like that. That's why they get away with the stuff they do. That's why they're able to do a lot of the evil shit they do. You know, it's when people they're system tools. They're not going to be observant to things like that. Let's take a walk, you and I, like old times. So, there's a guy called Uncorrupted Truth who used to operate out of here, out of this island. And I think he went to Big Island. I know he was doing, he's on YouTube. Or he used to be on YouTube. I don't know if he still is. His regular Uncorrupted Truth channel. Where he used to get into bloodlines. He used to get deep into the shit. Like, I report on this stuff. Like, as far as what people would consider conspiracy. I talk about the, 13 families and all this stuff. But he breaks it down. He goes into like years and names and dates and a little bit of gematria. There's so many things going on. As a spiritual war correspondent, I have to pick and choose what things I'm going to talk about. And I usually don't go too deep into them, just for brevity's sake, you know what I mean? I'll talk about something, but like I always say, there's other guys on YouTube that do a much deeper dive on this. If you're interested, sometimes I'll post, like, go see this guy, and, you know, or whatever. But, you know, I talk about them, but I don't get too deep into it. He would get deep into it. He would do these big presentations showing, like, all the connectivity between the bloodlines and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and, like, real involved stuff. And because of that, he was being harassed a lot. He was being followed, fucking with the shit. They fucked up his P.O. box. They were just doing stuff to him here. Doing stuff. And he had to move to the Big Island, where he used to do tour videos. He changed his whole video thing to doing tours and historical stuff about Hawaii. I think he does his Uncorrupted Truth stuff again. I haven't checked in on him in a long time. That's a long fucking winded way to just say, yeah, I sent them to him too, and he didn't know. He was like, well, what is it? I'm like, those mountains aren't supposed to be there. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, I'd have to see the real pictures. And I'm like, nigga, this is the real picture. This is, you know. So that was a problem I had. No one knew. The pictures meant nothing. They meant nothing. Now down here you can see, because the mountain, our regular mountain range goes down a little bit, the mountains, the size of them kind of paralleled the size of the regular ones. So you, like, even though the mountains dip down, you weren't getting a view of anything. It was just green mountains, that's it. There was no other kind of, I hope you're hearing me with all this fucking wind. And yeah, it was frustrating, because everybody's like, yeah, that's cool, but what? Now my friend Craig, who has been here a couple times on the channel, he's done some, we did some episodes of Schizo Garage lately. I had to fucking think about that for a minute. Like about a month ago, and he knows a lot about Hawaii and stuff like that. A month ago we did an episode. Who gives a fuck? Point is, he saw him, and he knew that wasn't right. And he's just looking at it. He's like, I don't know what the fuck that would be. He's like, to me, it almost looks like mountains you would see over on Big Island, or even Maui. He said, where it's like, there's not as many houses on them. He's talking about what he thinks it might have been. But he said, it's definitely a picture, or like a projection of something. I mean, they're not there. They're not real. I mean, they're gone now. It was really weird. It was really weird. I'm looking at this point here where it dips down. You can see the top of all the mountains behind it, but it's still part of the same range. These are in the sky, right where those clouds were, hung out in the sky. Now around that time, generally, there were green lights being seen in the Hawaii sky, where I did a video on it, included pictures that I got from other people reporting on it. But they were seeing like a giant grid, a giant green grid in the sky at night. And people were taking pictures of it, and it was in the media and stuff, and everybody was like, what is this? What is this checkerboard in the sky? A green checkerboard. Look like a laser light display or something. And it was spotted in the sky. And it got me thinking, like, did they have to lay something down first? Was that something like just a thought, I don't fucking know, but maybe they put those things down to project blue beam on? I don't know, maybe they're not related at all. But I remember around the same time we had that going on. There's a lot of spooky shit that goes on down here, as I've mentioned many times. In the weird kind of conspiratorial sense, and also definitely in the spiritual sense. There's a lot of places around here that some bad shit used to happen on. Human sacrifice. There are different points where, like where the Longs is, there was a little temple there years ago, and people say that the building, people that have worked in there say the building's fucked because of it. There's parts in Chinatown where they used to have different sacrifice areas, not a temple, altar, thank you. Yeah, there was no temple, there was an altar, sacrificial altar. And I went and I found it was Craig, the one in Chinatown. and it's right in front of a bank, and right where it was, there's like a park bench now you can sit on. We determined where it was, the point was, by the information we had, and we went right to it, and it's right there. There's a lot of cannibalism and sacrifice and shit going on here, and I think, I believe anyway, that there's a good possibility that parts of Lemuria lie underneath us, not too many years ago. And now I have to go search up the story, but I just put the pictures on the screen, because whenever I talk about something weird, I feel better if I can show you something at the same time. They found a road under this island. Pieces of a long road, as well as some other architecture. They found chunks of it floating around down there. And by some of the coordinates of where they think Lemuria was, it's possible that it either is under us, or some of the land I walk on right now was part of it. I've also heard other things about the possible Garden of Eden being in this area and could be on this land that I'm walking on now. There were more than one Garden of Eden. There was multiple Gardens of Eden, I guess. I didn't know that until fairly recently. But the reason the Garden of Eden thing, I think, almost sounds real is because of just the weather here. I mean, it only rains once in a while, and when it does, it's like someone with taking a spray can over the island. I could believe this was part of the paradise that was part of Garden of Eden. But it's at the center of a lot of this weird, spooky stuff. And then there's the whole supernatural aspect of it, with spirits and interdimensional. There's ley lines here. Just look at fucking Hawaii, like on YouTube, in the Schizo circle. You'll see all kinds of stuff. It's a very active place for all that kind of thing. And I think that's why I probably ended up here, on a front line. It's definitely a front line of the spiritual war, for sure. But I had the pictures on my Instagram, and then, like all my Instagram accounts, eventually it gets pulled down. And then just, shuffling things. I thought I had it saved for this. Thought I had it in my Google Drive. Point is, the pictures are now gone. But even if I showed them to you, you wouldn't know what you're looking at, like most people that look at them, Pretty weird shit. I didn't mean to talk about blue beans, but as I was driven from being in Schizo Garage, I wasn't really driven. I started off just by moving, just so he could spray that thing down, and then, one element after another led me up the road there. But that shit happens. Sometimes you gotta just roll with the punches to get to what's real. So let's take a little walk through the neighborhood here. I still have some footage I have to edit. I don't know, what was I talking about? The Charlie Kirk thing? Did I already put that up? Might have did something. It's always, the same stuff, just current events. Complaining about black people in my neighborhood. Complaining about Jews everywhere in the world. The hits. Doing the hits. I'm going to start doing more stuff up in, I always say this too, up in the back cave, because when I'm up there, I can think better, because I'm not trying to make my way through a crowd of people. That's the hard thing about doing these walking videos. Like, it's good to watch, because it's a lot to see, but it's hard to recall stuff, and sometimes hard to keep my concentration when the security alarm system's going on. It's not even for black people, but I mean, it's for all kinds of things. Sometimes there'll just be a big crowd I want to get through that's, if I don't move, then I'm going to get stranded in the middle of the fucking street before the light changes. It's all those things you have to consider walking around, because most people are fucking sleeping. I mean, they're walking around and they look awake, but they're not. They're fucking sleeping. I don't even mean in like a spiritual war way. I mean, just they're just gone. A lot of people are just gone. Or if they are kind of with it, they're only focused on their area, their group, their crew. It's like nothing else exists. So you kind of have to not only watch where you're walking, but you kind of have to watch where they're walking at the same time. It looks like a nice day up the beach. Can we take a walk up there? Yeah, let's fucking do that. I'm gonna go up to this light. I'm gonna fucking hook them up. Hanging the left, hanging the right. Taking a left when I get to this light. Stop to think out here for one moment, because as soon as you do, people are up your ass. You have to kind of learn to do things as you move. But yeah, when I was I just ran into the store, and before that, as I was waiting at the light, my comment notification went off, and it was someone just mentioning Spurg, Shameless Spurg, and I haven't checked in on him. The last time I went over to Rumble, he hadn't uploaded in like a week. I don't really know him. I've only interacted with him on Twitter X, but I should kind of reach out to him and see how he's fucking doing. He might be uploading regularly, but I noticed, not on Rumble anyway, there's nothing going on there. A lot of older videos he's putting up, but I know that doxing situation really messed up his personal life, I guess, from what, I hear. And that sucks, because there was no reason for them to dox him. No reason. I mean, it achieved nothing. You can complain to YouTube and you can flag someone's video, but and in the article where they talk about him, The Guardian, they're like, he's been unmasked. It's like he was always unmasked. I think it sounded like he was playing this anonymous character, like one of these cat boys or something, or he was hiding behind a cartoon avatar. He wasn't. What did they need to get by knowing where he lived? Except ruining his life, getting his family involved. Fucking digs up for his wife and his kids. It's fucking evil shit. Evil shit. And that does, can fuck your whole world up. I hope he's alright. No good deed goes unpunished. I went into the store today, the 7-0, to buy a pack. The new plan is Nia holds it all and gives it to me as I need it. Problem is, I feel like I need it all the time, so it just turns into me manipulating her into giving them to me until a point where she's just like, fucking take them. But I've got it down to like, I'm only taking 5 a day. I've been doing that for like a week. So the idea is from there to shift down to 2 a day. This is how I did it before. And then just be off them. But already, shifting down, I've noticed a lot of things coming back. Like, I can't explain it. They're all little personal things. Like, last time I came off it for a month and a half or whatever it was, I remember explaining like how much better life was, and it made me remember a lot of stuff that I'd kind of forgotten about when I was on them. It's fucking magic. There's spellcraft and certainly involved in it, without a doubt. I feel like it's breaking. I feel like the spell that I put myself under a third time is breaking again. Getting into the circumstances of why I got back on it is not helpful to me. It's shameful to have to talk about, but I don't have a lot of fucking self-control, I guess, or willpower. Maybe I don't have a fucking prefrontal cortex. But, yeah, it'll be gone soon. And when it's gone, I can then talk about how great it is that it's over. But, man, that stuff is, that's something. I went in there, and I was buying a 10-pack? And the 10-pack's like $55. And just because I'm an asshole or whatever, I'm going to get a 2-pack too, just in case, because if she plays hardball on this, I want to be able to at least have a couple in my system. So I got the 10-pack and the 2-pack. Now, rounding it all up, that's like $80, right? So I went in there, got the stuff, I'm leaving, and I'm looking at my change, and I think really what happened was I gave her, you know what? I'm not a mathematician. I'm not going to be held to the standard one. I realized that she undercharged me by kind of a lot. It was like $30. She undercharged me like by $30. Now I'm you know, most people be like, good, nice. I'm not. I've never been that way. So I go back and I tell her, hey, you know, and she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, you sure? I'm like, yeah. So she figures out and she goes, oh yeah. So I already had bought a 2-pack and the 5-pack. So she goes, well, why don't I just give you another 5-pack and then you can this and that or whatever. She said something like that. And I'm like, oh, all right. I thought it was some kind of deal or something. I didn't know. She just suggested, well, I can give you another 2-pack and then give you this back. And I just kind of said at one point, no, I just want to get back. No, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. So whatever's easier. Because I'm not good at math. I kind of don't understand what's happening here. I just want to fix things. I don't want to rip you off. So I leave. And now I bought another 2-pack. I didn't want to buy another 2-pack. You know, out of $100, I'm like, I was already spending $60. I threw another $20 at it just to get a couple on the down low for myself. But now I'm $40 in. I could have just bought another fucking 5. The point is, because I wasn't paying attention, I went back to fix the fact that she undercharged me and ended up spending more money than I wanted to, or that I understood that I was. So instead of ripping them off, I went back, paid them up, and then got myself ripped off, basically. I should have just like went about my day and said, oh, it's good. Well, I got some more money back, whatever, you know. But no, they didn't even like thank me or anything, or nothing like that. Just not like, oh God, thank you for coming back. Not that I expect thanks, but you know, you don't want to be short. Make someone be short $30 for their shit, and then she'd have to pay. I'd feel like shit. I'd feel terrible. But yeah, you know, I don't need a thank you. Would have been nice though. But not only no thank you, she kind of got me to spend more than I wanted to. I never said I wanted more. I just wanted the money back. So I had something to come back for. You know, it's my fault. I should have been like, dude, what do you mean? Why am I buying another pack from you? I don't know what the deal was that she felt I would, oh, you want to just get another 2 and you can this? And I'm like, okay, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I thought I was getting some kind of deal. No, the deal is, I went from making an extra $30 to spending 20 more than I wanted to, and getting basically the same thing, except a couple extra. Yeah, that sucks. You know, but I have to. I can't. You know, it's not even a karma thing, but it is kind of bad karma. But I don't know. You just do it. Like what I was saying to someone the other day, they're talking about something like that. Like, you know, why would you help this person and never help you? It's not why you do it now. You don't do things so that people will help you, and you don't do things so people will thank you. You do it because it's right. A thank you is nice, you know. It shows they acknowledge that you went out of your way to walk back to the store and square up with them. And now you have to explain where... I can explain where $20 went. Now I got to explain where $40 went. I don't know. I bought some extra copies today. Didn't you have 100? Oh yeah. What did I have today when I left the house? Yeah, $300 because I had to take some out of the bank. I had to take some out of the bank because there's an Asian girl there. Even though I've been going there 10 years, she insists that if I use a card, I have to show ID. No one else does. But this ties back into the Asian thing I was telling you about Nia. How if there's a rule in place, she will ride or die with that rule. So they probably told the Asian girl, like, yeah, you know, if someone uses a credit card, you need a picture ID. So she just had that in her head. And she's like, yeah, if you use a card, you need an ID. I'm like, yeah, but I've been coming here for 10 years and everybody here knows me. But there's a thing in them. You know, it's like about the Korean guy that Owen Benjamin told a story about that Korean guy that crashed the fucking airplane because he didn't feel like it was his place to override the command of his pilot because he was just a co-pilot and he was a lower rank. So even though he saw the plane was going to go into the mountains, he didn't want to force his will onto the guy who didn't realize what was happening. He was just like, no, keep going. He's like, no, we're going to hit the mountains. He's like, no, we're not. He knows they were going to, and he just died and killed everybody on the plane. Crazy story. But yeah, it goes back to, you know, what I was saying, the first world, third world thing the other day, how Asians are first world, but only because it's under pain of death. You know, they have a different way of having like a civilization that stays together and can do things and, you know, can stand in a line at a store, you know, without killing each other. You know, they have that situation there. But it's because of a different reason. It also reminds me of that thing I was talking about a couple weeks ago. That film from the early 1950s where they had like a baby test where they took 3 different babies, an Asian, a white, and a black one, and gave them different tests, stimulus. They gave them stimulus tests. Yeah, they would stimulate different things, like they put a cloth on their head and see how they reacted, like infants. And the Asian one, the whole time, was very submissive. You know, it didn't move the towel, it just laid there, played dead a lot. And that's just how they are as a people. So you get an asshole in there, you know, who's going to tell you what to do. And they're kind of easy to rule over, I guess. From what, you know. I see it in Nia. You know, she's always like, oh yeah, but the manager said this and that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what they, you know, I'm American, we're opposite. Don't tell me what to do, you know. And I have a problem with authority anyway. You know, because of course I do. I mean, I'm not fucking, I'm that archetype. I'm not an asshole about it, but if I'm told to do something that I know is stupid, there's got to be a problem, you know? Well, this has been a long one. Thanks for hanging with me as I did a big circle around the neighborhood. And, yeah, we covered a lot of stuff. I don't know if any was important, but, you know, we did it. And if you stayed with me this far, it's fucking really cool of you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know time is, you know, time is the most precious commodity you have. So it's, I really appreciate you, you know, giving me some. Until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.